Hi, guys. Welcome to the most underrated show on YouTube. Welcome to Perplex QT. My name is Laura. I am your friendly host, or not so friendly, depends who you ask. Before I say hi to everyone, I just want to say make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. This is a channel you will not find sensationalism on. This is a channel that will dispel the rumors that are out there and will never repeat something without having proof. So, welcome to my channel. If you want the truth, this is where you come. Secondly, let me say hi to everyone. What's up, Amanda, Elsa, Stone Gator, Betty, Angela, Ann, Mrs. G, Lacey, Bonnie, Angela, Princess, Rock Jam, Cool Gamer, Adele, DJ Vegas, Cindy, and Stone Gator again. All right. This is not going to be a long live because I got to pick up Phoenix in an hour. So I apologize. I've been running around. I didn't even get a chance to go to set up till the last minute. So I apologize for that. So I'm not sure if I'm going to end the live when I go or if I'm going to play something because it's only going to be like 10 minutes. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to jump right into it. If you want to support me, you can do it one of multiple ways. You can super chat. You can always use super chat. You can use PayPal. You can use Cash App, Venmo. Venmo I actually changed, just so you know. I have to update it everywhere, but most people don't Venmo with me anyway. What's up, Christine? It's either Cash App or PayPal. So, yeah. Or you can, most importantly, you could buy a candle at energycandles.com. Mods will be dropping links. My kids also have a Amazon list, which I need to add into circulation because my mods are not dropping it. But I'll add that into circulation. You can also find that on my community page. So now that we got all the grifting out of the way, let me go ahead and get this started. Did anyone watch That Girl before? There was some guy on there, not on there. She was playing some circus guy. Oh my God, I feel like the circus came to town. The theories this guy was coming up with is beyond my comprehension. I don't even understand why people are coming up with these crazy theories. Have we not learned, have we not learned our lesson about, hey, Brantley, I haven't seen anything about it. I think it's another rumor that started that people are running with, because if you look up, and I proved that somebody, if you look up somewhere, it tells you to GoFundMe is another source of raising money on YouTube. Like if you're not really making super chats, you can always do GoFundMes, and it's right in the rules. So I don't know what rumor started with they're taking away Cash App, but I have not been able to confirm that. YouTube has not sent me anything like they usually do. I don't see anything in the new rules. So could I be wrong? I could be, but it's asinine. What I think they might be stopping on a personal level, they could be stopping PayPal pools. That I don't doubt. But I mean, they want you to use Super Chat, but they're also taking more money. I mean, they really are. They're now taking 45% or something and leaving they're taking 55% and leaving us 45%, where it used to be a lot worse. I think that was an accident. So I'm going to go ahead and unhide. So I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 99% sure that it's not true. So yeah, they're taking now 55%, which they used to take 70%. I'm sorry, they used to take 30%. Now they're taking like 55%. But so is Twitch, though. So you really can't even like go anywhere because Twitch is taking 65% or something. They're taking crazy amounts. So yeah, maybe they eat Subway, because I went to Subway to get Dayton a sandwich before and it was like $14 fucking dollars. Yeah, the day I pay $14 for a Subway sandwich is the day I never eat Subway again. That ain't happening. So, all right, let's get into this. All right. So, has anyone heard about this 5-hour time gap? I actually caught it. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I actually caught it on a UK, um, the Independent or whatever. But I didn't realize that there was this 5-hour time gap that nobody has seen them, and the police have not been able to identify it. And nobody saw them for like 5 hours. And it got me thinking, maybe they were the targets. Just maybe. Hang on. All right. So the mystery continues to deepen around Xana and Ethan's final hours before they were brutally stabbed to death alongside Madison and Kaylee in a student rental home in Moscow. Okay. Also, they say student rental home, which tells me that they may have rented the entire house and not room by room. On the night of November 12th, Kernodle and Chapin had gone to a fraternity party at Sigma Chi from 8 to 9 at the University of Idaho campus, which is right next door. I mean, they were walking distance. Young couple arrived back at the home on King Road that Kernodle, Mogen, I'm not even going to try this, Kaylee shared with 2 other females, students around 1:45 on November 13th. 4 victims were all stabbed to death around 3 or 4 a.m., their bodies lying undiscovered for several more hours. Now, it's also said that no, Stonegater, the last time they were seen at the frat party was at 9. Police automatically assumed, that's where this is coming from. Police automatically assumed that they were there at the frat party from 9 to 2 o'clock or whenever they got home. But the truth is, nobody saw them after 9 o'clock. People saw them around 9, but nobody saw them afterwards. That's my point. So 3 weeks on from the murders, there continues to be an almost 5-hour time gap between the time Kernodle and Chapin was seen at the frat party and the time they arrived back at the house where they were attacked. 2 locations are only minutes apart on foot and is based in busy student areas close to Greek Row, where the University of Idaho's sorority and fraternities houses sit, which is right near where they were. Despite thousands of tips pouring in from the public, desperate to catch the killer, investigators are still unable to account for the major lapse in time and have provided no explanation for where Kernodle and Chapin may have been during those final hours. Kerndoodle's mother, Kara, who knows nothing, said she believes her daughter and daughter's boyfriend were at a bar during that time. However, she confirmed that she does not know this for sure. As we know, she knows nothing. Hours later, department appeared to confirm that they have been unable to shed light on this matter, saying in an update that investigators are still investigating what occurred from approximately 9 p.m. on November 12th to 1:45 on November 13th, where Ethan and Xana were believed to be at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus. Investigators continue to urge anyone with information about any interactions, contacts, direction, and method of travel, or anything abnormal to come forward and add context to what occurred. So basically, hey, Kendra, nobody saw them after 9 o'clock. Where were they? And it made me think, are they a target? Does everybody have it all wrong and they got into a squabble with someone, they had a fight with someone met them at the bar? Maybe they were the targets. And I think all the internet sleuths are going about this all wrong. Everybody's got Jack pegged, which I'm going to get to in a minute. But, when I think of that time lapse and where they could have been, were they at a drug dealer's house? Did they rob somebody? I mean, I don't want to put bad juju out there, but we don't know where they were, what their lives were. Were they buying drugs from someone? Was it somewhere Ethan and Xana, did something go wrong? Did they have a fight with someone? Were they in the wrong place at the wrong time? But the fact that nobody saw them, I mean, could they have been in a room having sex for a couple of hours and that's why nobody saw them? Absolutely, they could have been. We just don't know, though. And it's kind of weird that I haven't really heard many people talking about this time lapse, because in my opinion, this time lapse could really mean something. This could be big. And I think everybody's going after Jack is wrong on so many levels. So many levels. But was this a hit? Did they have a fight with someone and, they ended up going home, but they were followed because something went wrong in these 5 hours. And I can guarantee you the cops have the same questions. Like, where were they? That could put a whole new spin on this. That could mean everything. So, lack of information about their last known movements is at odds with the detailed narrative given about the final movements of the other 2 victims. On the night of the 12th, police said that the best friends, Kaylee and Mogen, had spent the night at the Corona Club bar in downtown Moscow, arriving at around 10:30 p.m. and staying around 3 hours until 1:30. From there, they went to the nearby food truck, Rub Truck, where they were captured on Twitch footage, ordering food and chatting with other students. Then they got a ride home from an unnamed private party, sorority service, to arrive back at King's around 1:56. 2 surviving roommates were also out that night and arrived home around 1. At around 3 or 4, an unknown assailant stabbed the 4 victims to death with a fixed blade knife, police said. There were no signs of sexual assault on any of the victims. Police officers were called to report an unconscious individual at a 3-story home at around midday on the 13th. Inside, they found the 4 victims brutally stabbed to death on the 2nd and 3rd floors. Okay, so right there tells me there was absolutely no unconscious individual. That's Winston. What are you barking at? That there was an unconscious individual that was, I don't believe that. I never believed that story. I have Winston on my lap. Goncalves, Dog Murphy was also in the home unharmed, not in a room with any of the victims. Where are you going? You're going to bark at Buka. Stop. Investigators have been able to rule out a man caught on camera with Mogen and Kaylee at the food truck and the person who gave them a ride home as suspects. What? Investigators have been, 2 surviving housemates were also left unharmed and appear to have slept through the murders as they slept on the 1st floor of the home. They've also been ruled out former long-term boyfriend and other friends who were in the home when the 911 call was made. A 6th person listed on the lease and 2 men involved in an incident with Goncalves around a month earlier, also not to believe to be connected to the murders. Now, one thing I'll say about the Moscow police is that the Moscow police keep saying everything is not connected. Well, how do they know what's not connected when they don't even know what is connected? I don't understand that. I don't understand how they can keep saying things are not connected when they have no idea what is connected. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Before her death, 21-year-old had complained that she believed she had a stalker. Moscow police said in mid-October, around a month before the call, there was an incident involving 2 men at a local business. Go, get down. 2 men at a local business that followed her, and neither of the 2 men appeared to make any contact with her. Both since have been identified and have spoken with detectives. Police said 2 men were attempting to meet women at the business, and they believe the incident involving Kaylee was isolated and not an ongoing pattern of stalking. There's no evidence to suggest either of the men were involved. Despite the revelation about the incident, officials are still keeping tips about the stalker claims and are still unable to confirm or deny the existence of a stalker, as they are yet to determine who or what was the focus of the targeted attack. 24 days into the investigation, police appear to be no closer than they were at the stage one. No suspects have been identified, no arrests have been made, and no murder weapon is yet to be found. But let's listen to the cops say how easy it was and how much evidence this guy left behind and how sloppy he was. And remember who told you that this guy wasn't sloppy? This guy did not leave a lot of evidence, and I think this guy knew exactly what he was doing. And I know some people say it's a girl. I don't believe it's a girl. I believe it's a guy. But I do wonder who was the actual intended target. I don't know. I really don't know who the intended target was. But this article makes me think maybe it was Xana and Ethan. Maybe, just maybe, this had nothing to do with Kaylee or Maddie. Maybe the guy saw the two of them and got mad because he hated blondes. You know, that's another thing people are leaving out. Maybe this guy was a psychopath. Maybe this guy just didn't like blondes. And the roommates downstairs, one of them wasn't blonde. Then again, Xana wasn't blonde either. All right, cancel that theory. I don't know. It just got me thinking that maybe there's more to this. Now, I'll tell you something else I found. And again, I told you guys I got to pick up Phoenix. So I'm kind of rushing through this. Why the other two make it out alive? I don't know. I tend to think that the father, not father, I was reading your comment, Trinda. I really tend to think that the killer did not know that there were two people downstairs. That's what I think. I think that the killer probably thought, like, all right, let me put it like this. I know that a lot of people believe, including the cops want you to believe, that the killer knew them and the killer knew the layout of the house. I don't believe that. I believe the killer did not know about the two bedrooms in the basement. I believe the killer knew about when you walk in on one floor and then you have an upstairs. I believe the killer knew those rooms, but I don't believe the killer knew there were two girls downstairs. I just don't. Because there's no other logical reason why he would kill all four and not the two downstairs. Especially, and a dog. There were two girls and a dog. After he killed the four upstairs, it wouldn't have taken much to kill the girls downstairs. So either the others didn't have a lock on their door, and they did. But wait, didn't they say? Yes, they said that Kaylee, well, hold on. They're saying Kaylee had more damage. But what I heard someone say today, and I have to agree with, it was a news report, that doesn't necessarily mean that she was the target or that she was like murdered more. But it was interesting the way they had the wording done. The way they said the wording. The wording was like, it doesn't mean that she was targeted, or I forgot exactly how they said it, but it basically meant that doesn't mean she was stabbed more. It just means that, like, let's say the others were, this was the impression I got. Let's say Maddie was stabbed, let's say in the chest. All right. Well, Kaylee maybe was stabbed in the eye and in the head and in the throat. So that would be more brutal, but that doesn't necessarily mean that didn't happen out of sheer panic, or that he had Kaylee was fighting maybe, so he stabbed her in the eye and then in the throat. rather than somebody sleeping who you wouldn't need to put a knife in their eye kind of thing. Because remember, I'm just using examples like you hear in movies and shit. You see in horror movies, like the worst possible way to kill someone. That's what I'm going on. I'm not going on, like, we don't know what they're exactly meaning when they say she was more brutal. Because when I think more brutal, honestly, that's what I think of. I think that maybe she was stabbed in the eyes. Maybe she was stabbed, in the throat rather than, or stabbed in the face rather than just slashing your throat or hitting you in the chest, if that makes sense. But that's how I think. Like, that's how I saw it. So I'm just not quite sure. I don't think time gap will help solve this, but still needs to be accounted for. Yeah, but I'm not saying it's going to solve it, true crime, but at the same time, it may lead to an answer. Like, if Ethan was the target, did they have, and I'm only using drugs, I don't mean they were out doing heroin. I'm talking even like pot or ecstasy or acid or something college kids do. Were they going to pick up mushrooms and something went horribly wrong and they were followed home? And when the other two walked in, the killer maybe knew that he was going to kill them too. Like, we just don't know. Horribly, that Kaylee got it worse could absolutely mean she was fighting back more. She maybe had more defensive wounds. So he stabbed her in crazy ways that he didn't do the other ones. Like, I'm just trying to think of outside the box a little and not fall into the same pattern that every other person is falling into, because I don't agree with it, if that makes sense. Yes, it does though, because the killer could have, let's just say the killer followed them home. I'm just giving an example that they were the target. All right. Let's just say they were the target. So Ethan was the target. Ethan and Xana were followed home from wherever. They were followed home from wherever they were. The killer, now they got home. The other girls were home already. The two in the basement were already there. Now, hear this out. The girls that lived in the basement were already there. So if the killer followed Ethan home and Xana home, they were the second ones home. The killer may not have known that there were people that came earlier. So now the killer's watching Xana and Ethan and now sees 10 minutes later after they arrive, two more people show up. Two more people get home. So if that killer's watching from the time Xana and Ethan come in, then he's going to see two more people arriving. It's very possible that's why the four of them ended up dead and the original roommates survived. Now, could the roommates have been walking around and blah, blah, blah? They absolutely could have. But the fact that Xana and Ethan got home first, and 10 minutes later, the other ones arrived, would make much more sense that Ethan and Xana were the targets. And because the other two arrived home 10 minutes later, the killer knew those two existed. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think everybody's putting way too much emphasis on Kaylee's ex-boyfriends, because Kaylee may not be the target. And if you think about why the killer wouldn't have killed the bottom two, when I say bottom two, meaning the other two roommates that were in the basement, because he didn't know they were there. He didn't know they existed. Simply because he was watching them. He came home with them. He was watching them. And then he saw the other two come home 10 minutes later. He knew he had to take out all four of them. That's my opinion. To me, that's logical. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But I absolutely see that as the most logical. Just my opinion. Jackie, I don't even believe he's in Africa. So let's send her to Africa. You keep chasing him. Bye-bye. All right, now something else I found. All right. So someone posted this an hour ago. This is up to date. This is not this is not a screenshot. This is actual Reddit. And someone posted this an hour ago. There's a Reddit account, I won't say who, as I don't want to scare them off, that is posted in defense of JD, which is Jack the X. They say there's a Moscow student who was with JD the night of the murders. This account has posted factual evidence and provided insight into certain scenarios that would not harm the case, but also that cleared up unnecessary rumors. I gathered some interesting facts with his comments, and they provide more context to JD, Kaylee, and Maddie's calls. JD was cleared. He had no signs of being in a physical altercation, and he has a very solid alibi. Multiple witnesses at the house say he slept all night, and they did not see him leave. The only exits where JD could have left from either had people on cameras that would have seen him leave. The 3 calls from Maddie to Jack was Kaylee calling JD from Maddie's phone. It was hinted that she left text or voicemails or both. Kaylee wanted to get back together with JD based off text. The last text she sent to him were along the lines, "Why won't you talk to me? We share a dog, get back to me. And please come over." There were no text or messages telling him that she was scared or that someone was following them. JD lived extremely close to Kaylee. One of the windows in his house has a direct view to the back of Kaylee's house. This window has a perfect view of the second-story slider where the killer entered. If JD were to walk over, this would be the most convenient door for him to enter and go up to Kaylee's room. If JD was asleep and Kaylee texted JD she wanted him to come over, it's possible Kaylee intentionally left the slider open in the hopes that Jack would wake up, see her text, and come over. That is an interesting point. That makes sense too. That she may have left the door open. Absolutely. Was watching Transparency Channel earlier and saying to check gas station cameras on his route home to see if he had cuts. Huh? It's also possible the slider was not locked after letting Murphy out. Either way, it appeared the slider had no signs of a break-in. The context gives insight to possible scenarios. If it was a targeted emotional killing, the killer got very lucky the store was unlocked. If it was a stalker situation and someone was watching the house for many nights, they may have noticed no one locking the door after Murphy went out. Now, scenario number 2, I don't believe. I don't buy scenario number 2. You should totally read the theorist on Reddit about hoodie guy because it makes so much sense. Not saying you did. I don't know. I don't think it was hoodie guy. I think people need to stop blaming innocent people for now. But we'll get into that after. It was an opportunist killing where someone was out for anyone's blood that night. They could have been checking locks and their house was open. That's possible. That's possible. Maybe not so likely. Possible, though. Point of interest to consider. A man was recently arrested in Moscow for trying to enter people's homes at night. He was testing doors and in one case refused to leave the residence. This man was released from prison a week before the murder for sexual battery charges. Don't think it's related because there is no... See, Sandy and I disagree. I think the guy is wrong. But I didn't listen to the whole thing. I was going to play it tonight. What do you think about this? It appears the girls had a normal night out and communicated nothing to indicate they were fearful of someone. What do you guys think? People wrote really interesting. Thanks for putting it together. It's quite a few points that are new to me. I might come back with more questions. JD wanted to kill Kaylee. I think he would have come up with a better plan that didn't involve killing 3 other people. I agree with that too. I'm not seeing the glare that KG's dad gave JD. Anything sus. I think it was an unintentional and people just exaggerated it. And this goes back to Crime Circus video. But if anything, her dad could have had a lot of resentment towards him for not answering her messages. Now that I agree with. That I 100% agree with. You know, this guy, now mind you, this guy's daughter was brutally murdered. Everything is going to be a what if. What could I have done? What could I have done differently? What should I have done? Why didn't this guy answer the phone? Why didn't you go with him? Why didn't you answer my daughter's call? Because if you would have answered my daughter's call, she might be alive today. This father doesn't feel like he's getting any answers from the police. He's been the most vocal, which is why I think Kaylee is the most talked about. But something in my gut tells me that she may not have been the target. There's a very good chance when you piece it all together that Ethan was the target or Xana was the target. And it kind of feels like they're getting wiped under the rug and everybody's just focusing on Kaylee and Maddie, especially Kaylee. And everyone has it convinced that it's Kaylee's ex-boyfriend that did this. No. Or that it's Kaylee's, the guy at the food truck. We can't go around blaming innocent people, guys. The cops have the cops have done the opposite. The cops cleared these guys. I'm not saying that the cops are always right, but the cops cleared them. We need to look in other directions. And that's what I think gets lost in YouTube is that people get so into the sensationalism and all the rumors that they forget the facts. And the facts are the cops cleared them. We need to look other places. When you can't keep railing the same people when the cops have already cleared them. There's a reason the cops cleared them. Why is LA release? What information, Dennis? And you know what, though, Sandy? The father wants answers, but the father is also looking at social media. They've said that. They said that on the interview the other night, that they're literally watching social media. They're getting their information from social media. The cops aren't telling them anything. There's no other place that they could be getting their information than social media because cops aren't telling them anything. So when people say like the father said this or cops, maybe they're cleared too soon, or maybe they're not cleared too soon. Maybe they're right. And social media just needs someone to run with. So they're blaming 2 innocent people. I think it's a waste of time. And I'm not saying that I'm right, but I think it's a complete waste of time. Exactly. Let's go. That's what I'm saying. Oh, I don't blame the dad at all. If that was our kid, I'm not the one blaming the dad. I don't think the dad has done anything wrong. I think the dad is aggravated, rightfully so. He wants answers. But I'm just saying that people are thinking the dad's got inside information, and it sounds to me like the dad's got less information than we have. And the dad is taking bits and pieces from all social media. And the mom had said that. The mom had said that she got excited. Oh, there's something new. And then, it was nothing. And that's from watching YouTube and TikTok and the internet. That's why I said people the other night, guys, you got to watch out for your clickbait because the parents are watching. They don't need to see your clickbait titles for you to make $1. Be real. So I said that the other day. I think it's disgusting. How is it that? I agree with that too. He interviews like he knows more than anyone else. That's true, but him and the cops have clearly stated that they don't know anything. I mean, that the cops aren't telling them anything. Now, what he would know is the position of the bodies, what the coroner told him. That's something that hasn't been released that he would know. Where his daughter was stabbed, who was stabbed, the position they were in, how many times they were stabbed, stuff like that we don't know yet. The dad would know that because the coroner would tell him. You know what I mean? The dad is frustrated from lack of communication. That's what I'm saying. But this circus guy, this crime circus, I watched some of it on Zap Girls, put out this video blatantly blaming the ex-boyfriend and putting together this theory like, oh, look at the way the dad looked at the boyfriend. And that's why I was like, this is ludicrous. This is absolutely ludicrous. You can't put shit like this out here. This kid could be totally innocent. Could he be guilty? He could be, but he's not showing any signs that he is. I guess, yeah, he's already seen the autopsy reports for sure. Is that the old sounding guy with the word voice? I don't know. All his videos like that? He gets there after the killer is left. He walks to a crime scene, left footprints and fingerprints. He's then obviously, without a doubt, then the number one suspect and goes to prison the rest of his life for something he didn't do, and killer walks. That would be bad luck. That's true. That would be bad luck, but it's happened. Now they're talking about unrelated. But see, I agree with this person. Very interesting. I've heard most of this with the exception of Kaylee intentionally leaving the door open for JD, but that makes sense. It does make sense. This person I've been watching. I don't think this person was watching the house for a bit. What makes sense to me, and I should put this in an upload tomorrow so people understand where I'm coming from. If Ethan, let's assume that Ethan was the target, all right? Ethan is the target, and Xana. We'll say Ethan and Xana. If Ethan was the target, Ethan did not live at that house. So the person that lived at that house or the person that was watching them would not have known that Ethan was a target.
Mom.
Hold on, what?
I got it off.
You did?
I put the cooler at the front like I said I could. And then I just have to...
You need Microsoft.
Huh?
You need Microsoft.
Well, it's not done. I'm not done yet.
Okay.
I have to install my 3 additional fans, my power supply, my graphics card, and then cable managed. That's
all right. We'll see that beast run.
Huh?
I said we'll see that beast run. All right. So you have 6 females rented that house, not 4, 6. So you have, let's say wherever Ethan and Xana were, wherever they disappeared to for those 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours, some psycho followed them back. The psycho had no idea that other people lived there. They saw them walk in, either on the second level, or through the back door. Followed them home. Didn't see anybody else because he was watching through the windows. And all he saw was Ethan and Xana. But then he decided maybe he's going to make a move. And 10 minutes later, here comes 2 more females on a different floor, but 2 more females. He knew he had to kill both. Or maybe it was a thrill kill. Maybe he wanted to kill both. But I truly do not believe he knew that 2 people were on the first floor. If he did, there's no reason he wouldn't have killed them both. He just killed all 4. There's no way he wouldn't have killed the others. Because, and here's the other reason why I think that why Ethan was the target and why this went down the way I'm saying it went down. 911. In the matter that he killed 4 people, don't you think if he knew that there were people downstairs that could easily call 911 based on noise or screaming, that he would have killed them? He didn't know if they were calling 911. He had no idea if they could hear these people being murdered, if they were going to get up and get a drink, if they were going to maybe open their door and hear something going on, or just call 911 because they felt like something was too loud. The killer would not have known that. But you have to assume if someone's screaming that they're going to call 911 or banging or something. Now, the girl said that she thought it was loud. There was like a party going on. So if she would have got up to look at some point, she'd either be dead or the killer would have seen her. Which comes back to my theory that I don't believe they even knew that there were girls downstairs. I just don't. There's simply because he had power to do so. The first floor, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The girls on the first floor were home for an hour. They got home at like 1. So they may not have been seen through a window. You couldn't see their rooms through a window. And the guy may have literally just followed Ethan home. And that's why he saw the other 2 girls. Am I right? I don't know. But to me, it's what makes the most logical sense. And it really does. To me, that makes logic. Having Kaylee and having these other 2, possibly, we don't know. It's maybe. But why he had to kill the other 2, it's much easier to explain Ethan being a target and why the other girls got killed than Kaylee being a target and have no idea why they killed Xana and Ethan. I don't know. I just find it much easier to connect the dots that they were after Xana and Ethan and the girls walked in and he knew I had to kill both of them. Because they were all home for like an hour, according to the timeline. So if they were home for an hour, no, weren't being followed, but the killer could have waited until they went to sleep. You may not want to break in somewhere the second you get home. 2 girls entered the front of the house. You may not have seen them come home. Hey, Bedwolf. I'd assume he killed Ethan because he entered the same floor he was on. That's a good point, too. That's an excellent point, too. He could have killed Ethan based on that. I don't know. I just know that logically, when I put it together, Ethan and Xana were the targets. To me, it really just makes the most sense. Maybe I find strange survivors have avoided all the families of those killed. I find it sus. That could be guilt, let go. That could really be guilt. We don't know, Sandy. That's the thing. Nobody knows. Law enforcement doesn't know. Nobody seems to know where they were during those 4 hours. Kendra, I'm feeling the same way. Those girls have more reason to be but we don't know Ethan's life. We don't know Xana's life. We know Xana's mom is into drugs. We know someone else's mom is into drugs. We don't know. Hey, Shelby. He either didn't do it because I don't believe the boyfriends are involved. I don't. That's another thing too, Dennis. I don't even know anymore how accurate the cops are. I think the cops are out of their fucking minds. I really do. I think they lie about everything. 2 minutes have been told not to speak to anyone but the police. Maybe because they don't want to twist anything. If that was me, I wouldn't speak to anyone but the police either, though. I would tell my kids, speak to nobody. You think the roommates know more? I don't. Because there's no motive behind it. There's no motive of why the roommates would want them dead. All 4 of them. Especially Ethan didn't even live in that house. Like, that wasn't Ethan's house. If that was Ethan's house, I'd say maybe, but that wasn't Ethan's house. When the cops know where they were simply by checking their phone pings. Yeah, but a smart killer would leave their phone at home. That's just my opinion. Hey, Thunder. I really do. I think a smart killer would leave their phone somewhere if they were going to go kill someone. You don't exactly want to have your phone on you and you do a mass murder. Especially if you lived in the area. Subs bringing up your hilarious mispronounce. Who does? The latest crime trend you utterly failed to understand on the most basic level. Who? I understand a lot, but I don't know who you're talking about. Your mother? I don't know. I'm lost. Your mom says that I failed to understand on the most basic level? I'm confused. Oh. I understand on many levels. I just don't do the sensationalism. Yeah, you wouldn't want GPS tracking you. You absolutely wouldn't. Survivors are adults. What exactly are they feeling guilty for? Let's go. If my daughter was killed if my daughter survived when their 4 roommates were murdered, or roommates and a boyfriend were murdered, I'd feel pretty fucked up too. I really would. Drive there in your car, they could track you anywhere. Exactly. Thank you. Let's go. Yeah, if you are a good killer, you leave your phone at home. You don't bring your phone with you. Phones can be tracked anywhere. Those guys have to be torn up on it. Yeah, I don't blame the roommates. See, it used to be that if your roommate gets killed in college, you automatically get an A for the year. So I don't know if they still do that. Or if your roommate commits suicide, then you automatically get an A for the semester or the year, something like that. Oh, they don't do that anymore? They used to. Because I know a lot of people that were failing school that were like, man, my roommate just killed myself. Yeah, murder school 101. Leave your phone at home. That's why you turn Wi-Fi off when you're out, or location settings, everything. I'm telling you, if I was going to commit a murder, I'd leave my phone at home. I don't need my phone. Please don't be a know-it-all in chat. You have to respectful, please. Tell him, Bad Wolf. Bad Wolf. That's ridiculous? Why? What's ridiculous? Leaving your phone at home? Why would you bring your phone? You're going to get pinged. Leave your phone at home. Get a burner phone. I'm going to tell you to commit a murder. Still call BS on the roommates for finding in. Yeah, I don't believe that unconscious body. I just don't. Phone could still be off and they can find you. That's why you don't bring it. If you leave your phone at home and you go off and kill someone, your phone was home. I never leave my phone at home, ever. I always have my phone on me because of my children. So if I was going to commit a murder, one, I wouldn't take my car. Because remember, this was walking distance. But I'm going to then go ahead and leave my phone at home. And this way, when you call me out on it, my phone was home. I was home all night. I was sleeping. How can you prove it? Check my phone records. I was home all night. It's that simple. I thought of that too, Faraz. Have someone walk around with your phone in another part of town. Debbie Collier was found through GPS. She had her phone, though. She had a phone with her. Faraz, I think they did that in what's that case? My God, I can't think of it. The one in Colorado. The husband and the girlfriend. Oh my God, what's her name? What's her name? No, you don't want to drive your vehicle either. But what is that one's name? The one that they never found the body in Colorado. The husband went to jail for it, and the girlfriend. I can't believe I can't think of the name. I covered the case. The mom was like weird. I have a Facebook group for it. I can't remember the name. No, not Kylie. Not Kelsey. Kelsey. What's her last name? Gareth? Something like that. But I believe that the girlfriend, thank you, Kara. I believe the girlfriend in that case, no, not Lori, Kelsey Grammer Gather. So I can't think of the last name. But you know who I'm talking about. I believe that the girlfriend switched phones with him. Barrett, thank you. I knew it was something like that. Thank you, Kelsey Barrett. I believe that the girlfriend left the phone, and I think the cops felt like this too, that the girlfriend drove back and left the phone, and I think she pulled that kind of bait and switch. I really do. Because she was like, no, my phone didn't ping. And I was like, man, maybe she drove her phone the other way. Maybe she left her phone and went the other way, or her phone was there, but she wasn't. Something like that. I forgot exactly how I had it theorized, but Faraz, it was going on that same theory. Everyone, second time here, and I love your chat. Thank you, Bell. The cowgirl nurse. Yes. You know who I mean, Kara, that blonde girl, the one that got off scot-free. Not Kylie, Kelsey Barrett. Sad case. Never found a body either. You know, I can't pick it up. That's so old, Sandy. I did that as a joke. I just haven't changed it yet. I got to get back on camera. Look how skinny I was, though. My arm was so skinny. It's crazy. Sorry, Buka. Ethan and Xana, phone pings, not the killer phone ping, Laura. Take us for a car ride? I can't. Because I don't have it set up like that. I have it set up in my computer. And watch the trial of serial killer ladies in the night of Laredo. No, I haven't. You like my car rides? I almost did one today because I got stuck in traffic. But I ended up going the other way. I was like, I'm not sitting in this traffic. All right. So I have to go get Phoenix. I can't believe I was actually able to like do this in an hour. I don't think I've ever been able to do this in an hour, but I did in an hour. So I'm doing candles tonight, so I won't be back on, but I'm glad I got everything covered. I will see you guys mañana. And that's it. But I think I'm going to do tomorrow. I think I'm going to do an upload during the day with my theory, so people don't have to, search through hours of videos and stuff. The homeless bum of YouTube with a shiny belt. All right. That's an interesting name. Hey, Jane. That's a creative name. I'll give you that much. I haven't seen that name around. So, all right. Yeah. So I think I'm going to do an upload tomorrow. I'm still going to go live, but I think I'm going to do an upload tomorrow. And I also want to, I haven't watched this circus clowns video yet, but from what I saw, I just think it's bad that everyone's blaming the boyfriend. We can't be blaming the boyfriend. We absolutely cannot be blaming the boyfriend. If the cops cleared them, we got to give them that. You know what I'm saying? Let's look other places, because if the whole internet pigeonholes one person, well, then the killer's really walking free if he's not the killer. And if the cops have reason to believe they don't even need DNA, then let's, but I'm going to go further with it, Sandy. So, all right, but I got to get out of here. I got to go pick him up. I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.